Okay, what needs to happen each week on Monday morning, Croatia time, it would be after 9:30 a.m. on each Monday, Croatia time, from now until the middle of December, and then starting again in January through the end of May. What we need to do is the following. First of all, go to the website, www.glow-bus.com, the one that's highlighted right here in the video. Enter the email address and password that I give to Lara. Click Login. Then when you get to the Instructor Center, scroll down to Industry 15 and click on Industry 15. Then, first we need to make a spreadsheet with all of the activity logs of the participants. So, first of all, we click on Activity Logs, and then you'll see there's Group A through Group I. There's no information in J, K, or L right now. That may change in January. However, from now through December, we just need A through I. So you click on the appropriate name of the group, and then bring the cursor right before the first letter of the first name on the list here, and highlight everything down to the last number of the last table. Highlight that all, and click Control C or whatever else you have to do to copy. Then open up a spreadsheet and paste that information into the spreadsheet. Then go in, name the sheet, Group A, and then go back and repeat this process for each of the other groups in a separate sheet on the spreadsheet, in a separate tab on the spreadsheet. Copy, new tab, paste, and then name it Group B. Next, I want you to copy and paste logins, total duration, GSR, CIR, and COR right here. Then, for each spreadsheet, I want you to create a sum of all of these cells for the second most recent year. So in this one, year 10 is the second most recent year. So that'll be this cell plus this cell plus this cell plus this cell plus this cell. Then scroll back through 0, 0, 3, 1, that's 4 total, 5, 6 total, and 6 is what we got, so that's correct. Then you're going to copy and paste this formula into each of the other cells and make sure that for GSR, CIR, and COR that you change the letter of the column to the correct letter before finishing with the page. Then I want you to repeat this process of summing up those 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of cells for each of the 9 tabs of the spreadsheet. After you've done that for every one of the tabs of the spreadsheet, I want you to go back to the Globus website, use the back arrow to get back to the Instructor Center, and then go to Globus Reports for Industry 15 and click on Decision History Report. After this window has opened up, you're going to go to Data Export and make sure that all of the toggles are on year 10 or whichever year it was that you just got done summing up in this prior spreadsheets. So this time it's year 10, next week it'll be year 11, the week after that year 12, etc. Make sure that all the toggles are set to 10. Then you are going to click on Export GSR Data and save that wherever it is on your laptop or desktop you want to save it. Then you're also going to click on Export CIR Analysis Data. Oops, I take that back. Export CIR Snapshot Data and save that wherever it is that you want to save it on your laptop or desktop. After you have saved those files, I want you to open up the document that I sent you called Mediator Test. And you're going to create 2 new tabs in this spreadsheet for the year that you just downloaded. You're going to create a tab that's called CIR Quarterly Snapshot NA Y whatever. In this case, it's Y10. Next week it'll be Y11, and after that Y12, etc. And take that tab and move it so that it is next to the tab for the prior snapshot year. And then go back, create another tab that's called Change Y10. Then you are going to open up the document you just saved, CIR Quarterly Snapshot NA Y whatever data. In this case it's Y10. Next week it'll be Y11. You're going to delete the top, you're going to delete rows 2 through 6. Then you're going to delete the rows that say demand, market share, and stock out. And again at the bottom, the rows that say demand, market share, and stock out. then you're going to take all of the remaining columns starting at A and going to average, copy them, and paste them into column, starting at the cell B1, into the tab that says CIR Quarterly Snapshot. Then you're going to go back, copy column A from the prior tab, and put it in column A here. Then you're going to go to the change Y whatever tab from the year before. So in this case it's Y9, next week it'll be Y10, Y11, etc. You're going to copy that entire spreadsheet and move to the next tab and paste that spreadsheet. Then you're going to go into cell B2 and you're going to highlight the formula inside the parentheses, click delete or backspace, then go to change Y9, cell B2, minus change Y8, cell B2. Oops, that's completely wrong. Forget that. You're going to go into CIR Quarterly Snapshot, cell B2, minus CIR Quarterly Snapshot from the year before that, cell B2, enter. Then highlight that cell that you just edited in the Change Y10 tab. Grab the little toggle on the lower right-hand corner and pull it all the way down to the column for group I. And then pull it all the way down to the end of the rows, to row 19. And you're done calculating the changes from one year to the next. So each week you're going to go in, create those two new tabs, create columns in those two new tabs, edit the downloaded document the way I explained, actually delete the columns for J through L. No, never mind. Leave those. And after you've done all that, I forgot, you also need to take the average column from the most recent tab and paste it into the change average column. At that point, after you have copied and pasted the average column from the most recent CIR Quarterly Snapshot tab to the average column in the most recent change Y whatever tab, then you are done for the time being with the mediator test spreadsheet. Go ahead and save that. We'll come back to it in a little bit. The next thing you will do is open up the document called DV test. And once again, you will create two new tabs. One for GSR. Oh, GSR underscore Y whatever. In this case, it's Y10. Next week, it'll be Y11, etc., etc. And move that tab so that it's next to the rest of the GSR tabs. Then create another new tab called change Y whatever. In this case, Y10. Next week, it'll be Y11, etc., etc. Then you're going to go back to the most recent GSR Y whatever tab and copy column A, paste that into column A for the GSR Y10 tab and column A for the change Y10 tab. And then you are going to open up the file that you saved called GSR Y10. You're going to delete rows 2 and 3, row 13, row 20, basically all of the rows that are empty you're going to delete. Once you have deleted all of those rows, take columns A through I, highlight all the data down to the bottom of where there is data, copy all of that data, go back to the DV test tab to where it says GSR Y whatever, and paste that starting in cell B1. Then you're going to take the change Y9 tab, copy the entire tab, paste it into Y10, and then highlight the cell highlight the cell B2, go in, delete the formula that's there, and instead go GSR Y10 cell B2 minus GSR Y9 cell B2. Enter. Then, just like you did before, highlight that cell, grab the toggle in the lower right-hand corner, pull it all the way across to column J, and then pull it all the way down to the last row where there's data. At that point, click Save, and you are done for the moment with the DV test tab, the DV test spreadsheet. We're going to come back to that in a second. Now, finally, you're going to open up the document that says Data Set. Scroll down to the bottom where there's no more data, and you're going to create a row for Team A, and then you're going to go to the spreadsheet that you created for IV test. Oops. Excuse me. You're going to go to the spreadsheet you created for IV Y10, where you calculated the sums of the logins, total duration, GSR, CIR, and COR. And for Group A, you're going to highlight the data that you calculated, click Copy, go back to the data set spreadsheet, right-click in column B, right next to where you created a row for Group A, and do Paste Special, and then highlight, open up the dialog box so that you can choose. and you're going to click Formulas and Transpose. No, excuse me, not Formulas and Transpose, Values and Transpose. And then click OK. Oops, I take that back. You're going to click in cell B and the row next to where you just created the team letter. Right click, paste special, and you're going to click values. Okay. That is going to bring, rather than the formulas, the values that you calculated in the other spreadsheet into this spreadsheet. Then you need to go to the mediator test spreadsheet. Go to the change in whatever the most recent year is that you created, Y10 in this case. Next week it'll be Y11. Highlight the entire column underneath Team A. Click Copy. Then go back to the dataset spreadsheet. Put your cursor in column G right next to where you just pasted the rest of the data. Right click and go Paste Special, Values, and this time Transpose. Transpose takes anything that's vertical and makes it horizontal, anything that's horizontal and makes it vertical. And click OK. You'll notice all of the values that we had calculated in that prior spreadsheet are now in our data spreadsheet. Finally, you're going to take your cursor, put it in column Y here, right next to the data that you just had pasted, and you're going to go to the spreadsheet called DV test, and you're going to do the same thing. Go to the change Y whatever tab, the most recent year, in this case Y10. Next week it'll be Y11. Highlight all of the data in the column for group A. Click Copy. Go back to the dataset spreadsheet. Right click in that cell for column Y right next to the rest of the data that you just pasted. Paste Special, Values, Transpose. And you'll notice all of those values that we calculated are now in a row rather than a column, and everything is here for group A. You're going to repeat this process now for groups B all the way through group I, G, H, I. So then you're going to go back, start the whole process that I just explained over again, go to your IV spreadsheet, go to the tab for group B, highlight that data that you calculated, copy it, go back to the dataset spreadsheet, right click right next to the row that you created for group B, paste special, values. Then go back to the mediator test, highlight the column for group B, copy, go back to the data set, put your cursor right next to the data that you just copied, right click, paste special, values, transpose, OK. Then go back to the DV test spreadsheet, highlight the column for group B, copy, go to the dataset sheet spreadsheet, put your cursor right next to all the data that you just copied, right click, paste special, values, transpose. Then you're going to repeat that process for each of the rest of the groups. When you've finished all of that copying and pasting, you should have one new row of data for each of the 9 groups, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I. When you're done with that, please save the document and send it to Lara. That's all I need for, that's all. I'm not sure if it's a lot or a little, but that is what I need done each week. Anytime after about 9:30 a.m. Croatian time between now and mid-December. Okay, any other questions? Just ask Laura for my contact information. I'm glad to explain everything else that you need. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.